Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I had to do this video. It's a quick one. So people have been telling me to talk about my experience about interview. I know that a lot of you, I don't know if I should use pidgin now or I should use English. So I'm gonna say a lot of now don't ask me about how my interview take go for the LNYD now, and how my waiting period, the waiting I did do during those waiting period. So I just want to clear it sharply before we just quickly do this video and post it, because I have like tons of videos I've not posted. So I want to quickly do this, post it, and then before I start posting the other ones. And it's been long since I posted videos, so please bear with me. So first of all, today go make yesterday is 28th July. Yesterday go make 3 years where I don't do this interview for my present company. So I did my first interview 28th July 2021. So I just finished my license school, like my aviation school. I just wrote my license exam. I've not gotten my license yet, and I got message to do interview. So I went for the interview. That was 28th July 2021. Mind you, I've already gone to submit my CVs. I've already started submitting CVs and applying online. So 28th July 2021, so I got dressed. I didn't have money when I got the interview. I didn't have money to come to Lagos, so I just gather my little savings so I get boro. I and my friend, we got the interview together. We took the first flight. I think which airline we even followed then, so I don't forget. And then we came to Lagos, stayed in the hotel, prepared for the interview. I think we just stayed literally like 3 days. We came on the 27th, did the interview 28th, and left on the 29th. Yes, that was it. So we went to the place. The interview was for 9 a.m, but then we went as early as 7. When we got there, me and her were just for cabin crew. The others were for customer service and the rest. But before then, a night before, we were asking ourselves questions. We're reading about emergency procedure, about SOPs, everything we don't teach us for aviation school. Just the reverse, the both of us. So when we can't reach the interview place now, we just sit down, they very calm. So there was even a guy said that even came for first officer interview. So I think they interviewed the guy first. His own took long, and I think they employed him immediately, because immediately he came out from the interview, started photocopying his license and all. And we were just so excited, we couldn't wait. So mind you, at that time I was not working. I was just doing part-time event planning and anything event, while my friend, she was working in Hilton. So I was just so excited to start my work immediately. So when I saw that the way they were doing the first officer, I just was saying maybe I saw our own good thing. So they called me first, right? Yes, they called me first, and then I went. Then they asked me questions. They asked me questions like I should introduce myself, which I did. They checked my CV to know where I've worked before. So now the problem was I was giving them CV of when I was working in Hilton. I worked in Hilton 2019/2020. However, I stopped working in Hilton in March because of the COVID, and then I started working in a construction company. So that the CV wasn't updated. So she was not asking me why. So I told her, I can't even remember the excuse I gave her why my CV wasn't updated. And then she asked me, she asked me about she asked me to introduce myself, which I did. She asked me why my CV wasn't updated. I explained. She asked me why I left my company, the company I was working for, which is a construction company. And I told her, the reason I told her was that I left the company because I wanted to pursue aviation. Honestly, that's the honest truth. I love aviation so much, and I wanted to pursue aviation. So I felt if I was in that company, I would not achieve my dreams. So I have to resign, go to a French school, which I did for 3 months. I didn't even put it in that CV. I did a French school for 3 months, after which I went to an aviation school. So the aviation school, that's what I just finished, and I'm awaiting my license, because in my CV they wrote license in view. So she can't look me, can't say okay. Then she can't ask me, say what's your salary expectation. I can't tell her to say, I can't call a particular amount for her. I call a particular amount. No, I tell her no. I call a particular amount for her. I think I call a particular amount for her. And then she can't ask me, say, like, you just call anything within your mind. She can't ask me, say, I should give her like situational experience, which I did. How do you exceed customer expectations? And what I did. And then she now asked me, she asked me what I know about the company. To be honest, I do not know much about the company. I don't go lie, I don't know much about the company. I only know the name of the owner of the company. I know, say, the company they go. I even called some countries, say the company they go, and she said no, they stopped going to those countries. I called the country, the destination, how many aircraft they have. These were things I found on the website, and when the company was founded. And then she now asked me, what is emergency? So I explained. So she now said, I explained. See, okay, now that's when I think that's why I hit the box. She was not like, what is emergency? So me, I used to use this idea in school, like they'll ask you a question and you start from beginning. So I started from beginning to talk, which some company might not take it, while others might take it. So when she asked me what was emergency, I was not like, I explained what emergency is, give that there are 2 types of emergency, plan and unplanned emergency. Then I talked about planned emergency and how it can happen, what you can do, the need briefing. Unplanned emergency, how you do your brace position, blah blah. I spoke because I just come up from aviation school, so everything's still fresh from my head. So after I finished talking about all that, she's in HR, so I don't think she knows about all these things about cabin crew. So she now said that was a nice presentation, because of the way I put it. She was like, that's a nice presentation. So she now asked me, do you have any questions for me? So I just finished doing my Emirates interview in 2019. So I remember they said, when a recruiter asks you, do you have any question for me, don't go about saying how much is the salary and all that. Just ask like professional questions. So I asked her, when am I going to start? And then she laughed. She now said that when the company decide, like when they come together and they decide. I was now asking, is there like a development for me as a cabin crew? Is there like a growth? Then she now explained, like, because I ask her, is there like a growth? Because I want to grow from being a flight attendant to a purser and thereabout. Then she now said there is platform for growth, and then she gave example. Then after that I left. Then my friend went to do her own interview too. So after which we came back to the hotel, and then my friend left that day. No, my friend left the next day very early. I mean, I left later because my flight was in the afternoon. So at that particular point, that was I went back to Abuja 29 July 2021, and I still do nothing. So in December, I came back to submit my CVs in different places again and to check what was happening. After which did not even allow me enter. So after my wait period, because a lot of you have been asking about my wait period, so my wait period was just basically there. While I was waiting, I was trying to make money because I was into ushering jobs and I was into anything event. So I was doing event planning, event coordination, supervisor, so that I can have small money. And in my waiting period, it got to a point, and that was in June, after my interview with one airline like that. That was my breaking point. And that was in June 2022. I told myself that interview was going to be my last interview, that after that I'm going to go into real estate management. I'm going to go and get a license. I started browsing about real estate, and now there's something I need to tell you guys. I beg with God. I've seen a lot of posts on my TikTok, help me. Help yourself, let me help you. I've told myself that once I get this cabin crew job, I'm going to let anybody to know, like I'm going to help as much people as possible with how I got in, how they can prepare themselves. Now, you cannot just sit down and say this is your dream when you are not even trying. You're not browsing, you're not trying to check for aviation school. You want everybody to spoon feed you and tell you this is how you're going to go about it. We're supposed to be asking questions that will help us, like questions like how long will it take for me to get my license? I've gotten to his school. I don't know, like reasonable questions. A lot of you are saying, is my dream, how do I go about it? That's why we have smartphone. If you can download TikTok on your phone, you can also type and ask yourself, how do I become a cabin crew? Because it's funny how I've been getting a lot of questions. It go reach is time I will start a charge on her to the answer on her, because if I start answering everybody one by one, it's going to drain me. It's going to take my time, and time and money. In as much as I've made that covenant with God that I'm going to, create videos and talk to people on how to, if you want to go into cabin crew, how you are going to do it. In as much as I've decided to do that, you guys should help me make the work less for me, because I don't think I stressed anybody like this. I don't think I asked so much questions like this. I went online to check things. It was now things I don't understand that I now get to message to ask you, to ask all this cabin crew. So when I decided I wanted to go into real estate, I started browsing about real estate where I can. I know that there are some real estate company that you work and they'll give you a license. You become an apprentice, and then there's a real estate school. So I was ready to work and get a license. So I started working towards that, and I was planning on doing that. I was researching. I was like, okay, in probably November, December, I was going to navigate into real estate. And as God will have it, 30th November, I got a message from this present company that I'm working now that I have a second interview for December 1st. And I went there, did my interview. So now the second interview questions is, I got there were a lot of people that I didn't meet. I didn't meet in my first interview. And funny enough, most of them are the people I'm working with now. And we started calling us one by one. So when it was my turn, they asked me my name. I should introduce myself, which I did. There were 2 ladies, and then the founder of the company, or the owner of the company. And then they asked me situational questions like, they asked me if I wanted to be a cabin crew, and I told them. And they asked me situational questions like, what do I do when I get angry? And to be honest, when I get angry, when I'm pissed at something, I walk out from it to avoid it escalating. So I told them that I walk out. I don't exchange words, because I might say something that I'll regret later. And after that, they gave me a book and told me to read, which I did. They gave me a book which I read. They told me to read one paragraph, and what I did was I was reading, and I made sure I observed the comma, the full stop, all the punctuation mark, because at that particular point I felt my life depends on my reading. So I did that, and while I was even reading, the owner started making calls, so I had to wait. So I think among everybody, my interview took long because he started making calls. The call was really long, and it's him that has the final say. So when he finished, he asked me a few questions and was not like, what's my name? I told him my name is Marvelous Chinelo KK, and then he was, my name is Marvelous Chinelo KK, and then he now said, okay, thanks, I can go. So when I left, somebody came and met us when we're all done and said, we're done with our interview. If we pass, we're going to get a message. If we did not pass, then we'll not get a message. We'll get it. If we pass, we'll get email. Or if we not pass, we'll get a text message. That's what he said. So I stayed back. I didn't go back to Lagos. I stayed back. I didn't go back to Abuja. I stayed back in Lagos. I was waiting for a positive reply. And then I think I did the interview on the 1st, and then on the 5th of December I got a text message and I got a mail that my employment, I passed the interview and I've been employed. God, I was so excited. So they said the next day I should come for documentation. So I was extremely excited. And then no, they did not say the next day. They gave me a time frame, but I was like, before they could carry the interview back, before they could carry the employment back, they can rush. So I went with all my documents. Funny enough, almost everybody that I saw the previous day, the previous interview, or rather the interview, they all came. They said them to the God, they gave them a time frame, but then they wanted to come, that day, like the next day, to come and start their documentation. So we did our documentation. From documentation, they said induction, and the induction, we started the induction. It was supposed to be for 1 week, but then they suspended it after like 2 days. And then they said they were going to give us a new date, so I had to like leave and go back to Abuja and prepare myself. And after the documentation in January after the induction in January 22nd 2023, we started training 6th February, and here we are. So I hope I answered that question, although this is long. But my waiting period was, I was trying to develop myself and learn other things while I was waiting. I was reading about the cabin crew. I just knew this is what I wanted, and I knew I was going to get it. So I knew I was going to get it. So I literally was just putting my focus on that. But then in June I got fed up, and then I looked into a different profession, which was real estate. I was looking into a different profession, which was real estate. And yeah, while I was into it, I finally got this job. And don't forget, I also prayed. I was talking to God. Because you think you have it though. I was talking to God while I was doing all my things. And yeah, hope I answered these questions. Drop more questions if you have. I'll be able to answer if I can. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Now